Really what she's been able to do is to come into the fiction, into the artwork, then do work in nonfiction as a way of coming in through the back door into her work, and then literally use all of those things in a construction process to tell two beautiful interrelated stories and to illustrate them with paintings. It's very strong work. It's very strong writing. It's very strong visual work. It's a beautiful object, and I'm very pleased that you'll get a chance to hear an excerpt from Journey to Wonder, and I do hope that you will take the chance to sit with the book as well. April?
This is awesome. I lost my voice this morning.
Oh, no.
And I was very sad at first, and then I realized it's so perfect because that's what I write about, is loss and wonder. So you're going to have the wonder of hearing me read with lost voice. I'm going to read from my short story, Samantha Firewoman. She's had one of those days where life just pushes and pushes and pushes at you. She has been up all night in the fire service. During that night, she went on a call where a man lost his arm, and even though it's not the most tragic call she's ever been on, she's had difficulty processing this one, and she doesn't really know why. Before she goes, oh shit, she has a fire that she's gone to, and now she's home, and she's gone for a run with her two dogs, Mickey and Tommy. And Mickey has mysteriously died. Now, she has decided that she's going to carry him home. Mickey lay flat on his side, the way he did when he was hot, all four legs stretched out to one side. Sam sat down between Mickey's two sets of legs. She faced away from him, her back end nestled close to his belly. Leaning to one side, she scooped her left arm under Mick's neck like a wrestler's headlock. Then she rolled over to her right side and onto her knees, taking Mick's legs with her, rolling his body onto her back. As she rolled up onto her knees, she grabbed his hips, locking them into the support of her own right hip. She now kneeled before the world, with Mickey's body draped over her lower back, his head resting across one hip and his haunches resting across her other hip. Leaning forward, she lifted one knee and set her foot on the ground, and with a great heave, she hoisted herself into a standing position. "Come on, Tommy, let's go home," she called, as she turned her face towards home, with Mickey wrapped around her body, nestled close as a baby on her two hips. Tommy sprang up and joined Sam, staying close at her heels. They got home at 1:30, which meant they had only been gone for 2 hours. It seemed like a lifetime to Sam. She laid Mickey down on the deck just outside her front door, and then went inside the house to pull Mickey's bed from their bedroom and into the living room. She couldn't bear the thought of leaving Mickey outside, yet during the hike home, Mickey had lost his bowels and fluids had drained from his mouth. So she couldn't handle the smell of death in her bedroom. The compromise was to bring him into the living room until what, she thought? Until I can bury him. Drawing together her last vestiges of strength, she went back out to the deck. Tommy lay beside Mickey, quiet now, as if he knew Mickey was dead, as if he may be grieving. Sighing and feeling numb, Sam bent over to lift Mickey one more time. She brought him into the safety of home and laid him down on his round, fluffy bed. His eyes were open in slits, and Sam was relieved they did not stare at her with the wide eyes of death. Standing there beside Mickey's bed, she stripped naked and threw the pile of clothes out onto the deck. Her shoulders drooped in exhaustion as she headed to the shower, where she hoped to wash away the smell of death. "Come on, Tommy." Tommy followed her into the bedroom and crawled into his own round bed, which was next to the sliding glass patio door. He laid with his chin resting on his paws. His eyes followed Sam as she gathered clean clothes out of her oak dresser. "This is the second shower I've had today." She scrubbed at her skin with the sea sponge she kept hanging over the shower head. She felt something akin to a physical ache move through her chest area, and it moved out to her limbs, like a toothache that throbbed and radiated like it would never stop, yet it wasn't really physical. She couldn't quite touch where it existed. It filled up her body, the shower stall, expanded out into the bedroom and into the living room, and settled onto a furry silver shell that used to carry a vibrant spark that she called Mickey. The shell was empty now, and that emptiness felt like one big-ass toothache that was bigger than her entire body. No matter how hard she scrubbed, she couldn't erase it. No matter how or where she moved, it followed her, aching its intangible physical pain. If the pain were located in one place, such as her arm, she would cut it off. She would cut off her arm to be rid of it, and then cradle the pain in next to her chest, just as she had cradled an arm just this morning. Sam dropped the sponge and turned her face toward the shower head. She smoothed her hands over her face, wiping away water as it poured and poured and poured its stream of warmth over her. She remembered the feel of Mickey's body draped safe and secure over her hips, never slipping off of them. She had the opportunity to hold him tight to her as she walked through the forest. She brought him home. With this thought, the ache eased. She turned off the water and reached for her towel. It was only 2:20 in the afternoon, yet she pulled on pajamas, a flannel tank top and shorts. Their browns and greens and rustic reds reminded her of the forest. Tommy was curled up on his soft bed, eyes still following her, and eyebrows moving as she drifted around the room, closing the window blinds. He did not move from his tight ball as Sam reached over him to draw the vertical blinds across the glass door. The dark coolness comforted Sam, a cave to curl up in and liquor rooms before they festered too deep. She pulled back the quilted coverlet hand-sewn by her mother. Against its cream background emerged a single tree, the rugged texture of its bark created with fabric, each piece lovingly hand-stitched. She wondered if she should hate the forest. It had let her Mickey die. What use was this complex beauty, its fragrant incense, or its heavenly arbor when it allowed such loss? What use was a world that allowed an innocent man's arm to be ripped off on a peaceful Sunday morning, or a vibrant, loving dog to die within the canopy of Sam's cathedral? I should hate, she thought, but I don't have the energy. She pulled back the quilt with loving hands. There she lay down within the folds of sheets, the color of earth, and fell into sleep.